Aaron Antis, each and every week, as you guys have grown ShawHomes.com, you have done a good job of not losing track of where you came from.
That's true.
I mean, Shaw Homes was doing $24 million a year, which is a great number before you ever met me and our team.
True.
You guys were already doing great, but now you've grown where some months you're doing $17 million in a month.
Yeah.
Last month, which is typically like one of the slowest months of the year in the home building industry, you guys did how much in sales?
I think we were a little over like $16.9 million.
In November. I mean, so the sales are growing, but you know what we have to do? We have to take out time. James, we have to take out time. We have to take out time, and sometimes we have to celebrate the victories. And so what we like to do on this show is we like to call up members of the Thrive Nation, and we like to have a conversation, and we like to do a little weekly segment that we like to call
Wins of the Week.
Doing the bull dance, feeling the flow, working.
You can do it.
Oh, in Thrive Nation, this guest is doing it. Ross the Boss, welcome on to the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Hey, one thing that I like about you is you're not a guy who's going to freak out and need like an emotional roller coaster to get going. And you're also a guy that you don't have too many highs or lows. Would you classify yourself as kind of a stoic guy, or how would you describe your personality type?
Yeah, that's pretty much me, even keeled. Pretty serious most of the time. Hear a lot about it from my wife. She wishes I would be a little less serious, but that's kind of me.
Now, what is the name of your company?
Basin Fleeting.
And how did you hear about us originally?
I was listening to the EO Fire podcast, and I listened to one where he was talking to you and just kind of thought it would be a good idea to reach out.
And had you reached out to any other business consulting programs in the past? I've been doing this since 2006, and Aaron, I know before I built this program, I had actually hired other business consultants, but beyond that, I haven't really delved into the water of consulting. Ross, have you used other consulting services or gone to other conferences and workshops? Or?
Yeah. I've been to the Tony Robbins Business Mastery conference and did the coaching with them too. I've tried a lot of different stuff, reading different books, trying to implement those things as well. But yeah, the biggest one I've tried was the Business Mastery from Tony Robbins.
And how does Tony's program compare with ours?
For the most part, it's a little similar, but it's just kind of a different flavor, if you know what I mean. It's kind of as if they don't do as much as your program for sure, and it's a lot more expensive. And it was enough to make it to where I didn't really want to keep doing it versus your program for sure.
What does their program cost?
I would say about $700 a call, and there's about 4 calls, maybe more than that, depending on what you need. But it wasn't as with you have that one fee, and I can really get as much help as I can from you guys. With them, it was always a matter of I have to think about whether I want to pay for it or not, because it's not a set thing. It's just per call.
And what I
found,
it's
only coaching. Coaching.
Now, and when you say only coaching, how is that different than what we do? Just because a lot of listeners don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, one, y'all have a path that y'all are trying to kind of lead us down as business owners, a proven path, and I like having that kind of structure. The other one was they kind of just listened to what your problems were, and they tried to help the best they can, but they didn't really give you a direction. They kind of were just good at implementing Tony's programs. They were kind of trained to implement Tony's programs. So,
and I want to make sure we get this, because Aaron Antis, as you're growing Shaw Homes, what I love about having Ross on the show, and Ross, this is not a backhanded compliment. Sometimes we get people on the show that are so high energy, so motivational, just you know what I mean, where you go, I could never do that, and I hate when we do that. Because it makes people feel like they can't do it. And I like that Ross Sounds like someone we can relate to. Ross, what's your website?
Basinfleeting.com.
And what does Basin Fleeting do?
We're a barge fleeting repair and transportation company located in South Louisiana.
So, Aaron, how have the systems that you've learned helped you to grow ShawHomes.com?
Well, I mean, there's been a lot of things that have helped us, Clay. I mean, I'll go back to the very beginning and say that some of the people that we had on staff maybe weren't the best people. And so learning how to implement never-ending group interviews every single week, week in and week out. I would kind of like fire that up if I needed somebody today, and then I'd let it drop off. And what I found out was people were quitting or needing to be fired when it was convenient for them, and now it was never convenient for us when they would leave, and then I'd have to fire that back up and start again. But I would say just implementing that system of having the group interview going every single week was hugely helpful for us to get the right team together so that we always had good people on hand. I would say that running the no-brainer offer all the time and never ending with a no-brainer offer was a huge help. It helped bring in a lot more leads for us. Getting Google reviews for us was a huge thing, because although we had literally thousands of customers who were happy, nobody goes and does a review unless they're ticked off. By default, the only ones you get are the 5 people that you made angry, instead of the thousands of people that had a great experience. And so getting Google reviews just put us on the map in a different way than we were before. And I would also say just having clearly written scripts has been helpful for us, making sure that we're putting the right message out there consistently, instead of just leaving it up to somebody's whim of whatever's top of mind for them to blurt out of their mouth, which sometimes got crazy. And then I would say one of the number one things that goes along with that scripting was recording our phone calls and having video cameras where our sales team is interacting with our customers. Hugely, hugely important for us to see what's going on. It was shocking to me when we started implementing that, hearing what our staff was saying to people, both on the phone and in person. I actually have some greatest hits videos that sometime would be so awesome to play for you. It's a little difficult, though, to be able to play a video and for you to get the full magnitude of my salesperson being barefooted with their foot up on the desk, picking the toe jam between their toes on a hot July afternoon while a customer is sitting in front of them. This is a real video that I have. I didn't share it with you because I didn't feel like you were going to be able to take that kind of video, Clay. I thought
Ross, he's grossing me out here, but he's telling the truth.
Yeah.
There's somebody out there who is trying to run a company, and they just looked at the security footage for the first time, like Aaron did, and they're going, "Oh no." There's somebody out there who's trying to run I'm serious, a restaurant right now, and they look at the security footage and they go, "Oh." There's somebody out there and if you can start to feel alone as an entrepreneur. And I don't know if you want to speak to that at all, Ross, but so many people tell me just having access to somebody that will actually call them back in between meetings. You have that weekly meeting, yeah, but someone that will return the call during the week. Does that matter to you, Ross? Is that something that that matters to you as a client?
Absolutely. As the owner, you're kind of at the top in a company most of the time. And you really don't have too many people that know the business as well as you, or other business systems, or the more technical side of growing businesses. And it always helps to have that resourceful contact that can give you a different perspective on your problems you're facing in a company. Yeah. It definitely means a lot to me. I've never had anyone to call, and I have a lot of mentors, but none that specialize in kind of business systems and just consulting for businesses. They kind of have their own businesses, and they can give me the best advice they can give, but it's nothing compared to someone who does it for a living.
It's a sounding board is what it is.
And I find that, the reason why we charge $1,700, I'm very transparent with that number as of 2020 at $1,700, is because, James, you're in the office now. You're from Manhattan.
Yep.
But you're a client, but I mean, you've met the real employees. We have a real staff.
Yeah, sure.
A real team, So, I mean,
Great
it might not seem exciting to somebody out there, but to me it's exciting. Luke joined our company a while back, about a year and a half ago, and he's gone on and he moved on to actually buy an OxyFresh franchise. So today was his last day of work.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we want to celebrate somebody's last day of work. We want to have a nice little lunch party for them. We got to spend money on recruiting employees. We got to spend money on staffing. We have a Christmas party. I mean, these are full-time people with actual desks, office space, software, licensing fees, insurance. I mean, it's a real team.
Yeah.
And with 160 clients, if I want to operate at a 20% margin, and I do, I've done the math, and I know how big we want to get to. Does that matter to you at all, Ross, knowing that you're one of those 160 clients and there's not, 2,000 clients? Do you care about that at all, or does that not matter?
For me, it definitely kind of matters. I want to know that I'm getting, the best value for the money I'm spending, and I don't want to feel like maybe, y'all don't have the time necessary to help me kind of focus and grow my business. So I like the intimacy of the lower amount of clients. That's just my personal preference.
My frustration with other coaching programs that I had used in the past was they would always call me and check on me, Aaron.
Yeah.
And I would go, oh, my gosh, this guy's calling me. So I'm like, hey, what's up? I remember one guy, Bruce. Bruce, what's up, man? He said, "What's up? How you doing, man? You doing good?" Yeah. I mean, it's like the energy was there, because he comes in flying high. He says,
yeah.
Hey, man, what's up? So you're unsuspecting, right? So he says, "So anything you need right now? Anything I can do for you?" And I go, "Well, Bruce, I mean, right now, the only issue I have is I'm working through a couple legal docs, and I wanted to get your take." Oh, yeah, sure. And he's talking, and I'm getting the sense like this guy's got all the time in the world. So 27 minutes into the call, he says, "Hey, man, if you need something else, let me know." Now, he called me. So the next month, my wife looks at the bills that come in, and it's like, I don't know that it was $700 an hour, but it was like maybe $400 an hour. All of a sudden, I get a bill for like $250. And I'm going, did I talk to Bruce for 31 minutes? Furthermore, did he call me? So you call Bruce. Bruce? He says, "Well, time's money." And it was kind of that weird relationship where I never knew what my bill was going to be.
Oh, yeah.
Or he would go, "Hey, just email me a question if you need something. Email me, bro."
I had to do an hour and a half of research to get your answer for you.
You know this, do you not? Now, I work with
that
Winters
happen.
and King. That's my law firm I work with. And I can tell you, I spend way more than $1,700 many, many months on my legal fees. And I can tell you, I'm happy to pay those fees because they're very upfront and they tell me what those fees are going to be.
Yeah.
But Ross, does that help at all, knowing that it's a flat fee? Do you care? Does that matter to you, or do you kind of like the excitement of potentially getting a big bill?
Yeah, I think I like the set payments. I like knowing what to expect in business. So many vendors will hit you with that kind of game plan, and it's refreshing to just know what to expect and get a good amount of value from it.
Man, I'll tell you this. I've talked to my wife and key people in my life multiple times, and people have said, "Why do you charge a flat fee? You could charge so much more." And I always will say, "Well, that's how I'd want it to be done." Like for me, like as a business owner, that's what I want. I want that. So, I mean, I've kind of built this for me, and other people can use our team if they want to, but the system had to work for me first. Now, let's talk about two things you've implemented so far that I want to underscore, because if you didn't implement these, Ross, it would be pointless. I mean, people will say, "Man, that guy's a good teacher," if they implement. People will say, "That guy's a bad teacher," if they don't. So checklists and the group interview. Talk to us about the good news of checklists and the group interview. How have those two moves helped you? We have so many moves we teach, but how has implementing those two moves helped you?
Sure. Well, I guess starting with the checklist, man, that helps so much with just giving me peace of mind, knowing that if we have to replace that employee, there's a checklist there. That systematizing of everything really helps with the training. And we have everyone has complex business processes a lot of the time, and it's always been, the biggest part is taking that knowledge out of our employees' heads and turning it into structural knowledge that stays with us whether they're there or not. And honestly, with the group interview, we did not do that before. We just did regular interviews, single interviews, and we implemented that. And it's freedom is kind of how I look at it. Just knowing we have a huge amount of a pool of people to pull from regularly. We're not at the mercy of, stuck where when these guys, we can't get rid of this person until we find a replacement kind of thing.
Yep.
That was so eye-opening for me, for sure.
Now, I want to cue up an audio clip here. This is from a business owner. I've not played this yet, but James, this is from your hometown.
Okay.
In New York, where Cuomo, the governor of New York, has told him that he is not allowed to open his business, and if he does open it up, there's going to be big fines. I'm going to play the audio clip here, James, and I want to get your take on this, and then Ross, I want to get your take on this as well. So, James, here's the audio clip.
They also don't have the guts to answer why they get to draw a $225,000 salary for Governor Cuomo, and for Poland cars, a $103,000 salary, but the working man and woman doesn't get to earn. They get to take our money, but we don't get to earn. They don't have the guts to tell us that. That's the worst kind of leadership.
Your story's getting a lot of attention. We thank you for your service, and we'll continue to watch.
Yes.
Story
Oh,
goes.
man. That's
Thanks
my
for joining
reaction.
us tonight.
So, James, this is a business owner. He was fined for opening his business because of the coronavirus restrictions. And this guy ripped up his fines and it says he's not going to pay it.
Yeah. You heard my reaction. That's great. I love it. There's this, I don't know if you remember when the protests started and the lockdowns were happening.
By the way, the protests are different from the amateur protests. The amateur tests.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess the amateur test would be the COVID
the AM test.
Okay,
AM
sorry. Back
test
to
of
you.
the
Just want to
protest.
clarify.
AM test of the protest. AM test. Okay, so now I'm talking about the protest in New York. On the cover of the New York Post.
Cover
of the New York Post. After the protests happened and the lockdowns were happening kind of at the same time, there was this cognitive dissonance going on. The cover of the New York Post said, "Sick hypocrisy." Sick hypocrisy. You can protest, but you can't go to a restaurant. I don't know what business that
now,
man
Ross,
is in,
we
and
have
that's what the problem is.
We have this week. The governor of New Jersey was caught going out to dinner without a mask, as you should, by the way.
Well, I mean,
and not social distancing and all that, as you should. And he was having a good time. Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, was having a good time. Having a blasty blast.
Dinner party?
13 people at a party.
So these people, the rules are for thee, not for me. That's how they live. Ross, we've never talked about this. How do you feel knowing that our podcast is the show that broke the Lynn Wood story, that our podcast is the one that's doing the Roger Stone stories? How do you feel knowing that you're working with perhaps the most libertarian broadcast on the planet? How do you feel knowing that the far right libertarian Thrive Nation has got your back?
Oh, it's definitely refreshing. It's nice spending time with like-minded people that are actually, instead of just sitting around doing nothing, they're trying to make a difference. It definitely helps with overall, everything. I want to spend money with people that that value the same things that I value.
Now, real quick, if you're out there and you're listening to today's show and you go, I'm kind of left of center, I'm kind of a Joe Biden fan. Well, it's okay. Just stop listening. Just stop listening, because you're confused, and you'll figure it out later. But this is for capitalists and God-loving people that grasp the idea of cause and effect.
Free market capitalism.
Free market. Now, final question I have here for you, Ross. You've had a lot of success, and I'm excited to hear about the success you're having. I can't wait to see you at the next conference when we see you again. For anybody thinking about attending a conference or thinking about going with the one-on-one consulting, kind of maybe explain who the program is a good fit and who it's not for. Just because I don't want Antifa filling out the form.
It's not a good fit for them, Clay.
Sure. I would say the best fit is any entrepreneur who is going at it alone, like most of us are. It's definitely refreshing having a place that can answer a lot of your questions and at least give you a little bit of direction. I really like how one of the things in my assessment was needs to know what they have to do so they can do it. That's so exactly what I think a lot of entrepreneurs with ambition for their businesses need is just tell me what to do and I'll do it, and that was really refreshing for me. So I would say any entrepreneur could benefit from it. I don't know what scenario where you wouldn't benefit from just going and attending. It would open up opportunities. It would do all kinds of stuff for you. So,
Ross, you are a great American. I appreciate you so much. Again, your company's basinfleeting.com. For anybody out there who's in the New Orleans area, I guess in the New Orleans area, where exactly in Louisiana are you?
I'm located in Berwick, Louisiana.
Berwick.
Most people in my industry would understand we're at the Y of the Chapalaya, where the Chapalaya River meets the Intercoastal Waterway. That's what we operate on, the Intercoastal Waterway. Most of the Gulf Coast. most everyone knows where we are. We're a great fleet to just kind of stop and triangulate your assets on the water.
So for anybody out there
that's
who
exactly
is,
where we're at.
Aaron, you know I say this on the show a lot. For anybody out there who's trying to triangulate your assets, you got to go to basinfleeting.com. And what do you charge per day to rent a barge? Is it still you still do the deal where if you rent the barge twice, you get a free yoo-hoo? Is that still the deal, or what does it cost to rent a barge?
Well, what we're doing now, we're really pushing for the assist work through the bridges. Anyone going through bridges through the water, they usually need a tug to assist them through to make sure they don't hit the bridges. And customers that are already using our fleeting locations, our no-brainer for them is for every assist you give us, we give you a $100 credit with no cap. So, we got some customers getting $9,000 a month. In savings and discounts, so it's working pretty well for sure.
Ross, you are a great American. I'm glad we share the same last name. I think we follow it back on Ancestry.com. We're eventually going to find this Adam and Eve character, these two, Aaron, and that's where Ross and I are related right there. You follow it back far enough, you're going to find that connection.
That's pretty far back.
That's pretty far back. Okay, we're going to end the show with a boom. We're prepared to end the show with a boom. Ross, are you prepared to end the show with a boom?
Yes, sir.
Okay, boom stands for big, overwhelming, optimistic momentum, and that is what you need to succeed. Aaron Antis, here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom!